Jerry. Jerry is one of the strangest and most oddly peaceful entities in the backrooms. Often described as a small, blue, bird-like creature with a simple, almost cartoonish appearance. Unlike most entities, Jerry is not physically dangerous, which makes it stand out in such a hostile environment. Jerry is most commonly associated with Level 1.5, sometimes called the Hub, where it appears to wander around or perch in certain areas. It doesn't attack, chase, or harm explorers in any direct way. In fact, many survivors report that Jerry seems calm, curious, and even friendly. However, the real danger of Jerry is psychological and indirect. Some people who spend too much time around it develop an unhealthy attachment or obsession. Over time, they may begin to worship Jerry, lose focus on survival, or ignore basic needs like escaping or finding resources. This mental influence can ultimately lead to death not by Jerry itself, but by neglect and poor decisions. Because of this, Jerry is often considered a trap entity. It lowers your guard in a place where you should never feel safe. The backrooms rarely allow anything to be completely harmless. The safest approach when encountering Jerry is to acknowledge it, but keep moving. Do not stay too long and do not form any emotional attachment. In short, Jerry isn't dangerous because it attacks you. It's dangerous because it makes you forget that you're in danger at all. Clumps. Clumps are among the most horrifying and grotesque entities in the backrooms. They appear as massive, deformed piles of flesh, made up of multiple human-like body parts fused together, arms, legs, and faces, all tangled into a single moving mass. Their appearance alone is enough to cause panic, as they look like something that should not exist. Clumps are extremely dangerous due to their immense strength and size. They move slowly, but once they detect a target, they can become surprisingly fast and aggressive. Their attacks are brutal and almost always fatal, as they overpower victims with sheer force rather than speed or intelligence. They are typically found in darker, more decayed levels of the backrooms where visibility is low and escape routes are limited. This makes encounters even more deadly, as you may not notice one until it's already too late. Despite their chaotic form, Clumps seem to have a basic awareness of their surroundings and can track movement or noise. They are especially attracted to sound, so making noise can easily draw their attention. The best survival strategy is simple: run early and stay silent. Avoid tight spaces where they can corner you, and never underestimate their reach. Once a clump has locked onto you, escaping becomes extremely difficult. In short, clumps are not just dangerous, they are overwhelming, unstoppable forces that turn any encounter into a fight for survival. Wretches. Wretches are one of the most tragic and disturbing entities in the backrooms because they were once human explorers who lost their sanity over time. Instead of being naturally occurring creatures, wretches are what happens when someone spends too long in the backrooms without hope, resources, or escape. Physically, they look like decaying, exhausted humans. Their bodies are often thin, dirty, and damaged, showing signs of starvation and mental breakdown. Their behavior is erratic. They may wander aimlessly, mumble to themselves, or suddenly become aggressive without warning. Wretches are dangerous, mainly because of their unpredictability. Some will ignore you completely, while others may attack out of fear, confusion, or desperation. In some cases, they are known to chase or harm other survivors, especially if they feel threatened. What makes them even more unsettling is the psychological aspect. They are a reminder of what any human can become in the backrooms. Losing your sanity, isolation, and constant fear can slowly turn someone into a wretch. The best way to deal with them is to avoid contact entirely. Do not try to help or interact with them, as their reactions are unstable. Staying quiet and keeping your distance is the safest strategy. In short, wretches aren't just monsters, they are a warning of what happens when someone stays in the backrooms for too long. Facelings. Facelings are one of the most eerie and mysterious entities found in the backrooms. They appear as tall, humanoid figures dressed in everyday human clothing, but their most disturbing feature is their completely smooth, blank face, lacking eyes, a nose, or a mouth. This unnatural appearance makes them deeply unsettling to encounter, especially in environments that otherwise feel normal. Facelings are generally divided into two types: adult and child variants, where adults are usually passive and tend to ignore you if you remain calm, while child facelings are far more aggressive, erratic, and dangerous. They are commonly found in levels that resemble real-world places like offices or neighborhoods, making their presence even more disturbing due to how normal everything else seems. Despite having no visible senses, they can somehow detect movement and awareness around them, so staying unnoticed is not as easy as it seems. They become a threat mainly due to their unpredictable nature, as even passive ones can suddenly turn hostile without warning. Their child variants are especially dangerous, often attacking or chasing victims in a chaotic manner. The psychological fear caused by their featureless faces can make people panic, leading to fatal mistakes in an already dangerous environment. They can sense your presence despite lacking eyes, which removes the advantage of hiding or sneaking past them. Overall, their ability to blend into normal-looking environments while being impossible to read makes them a constant and unsettling danger in the background. Smilers. Smilers are among the most recognizable and unsettling entities in the backrooms, known for their glowing eyes and wide, unnatural grin that appears out of complete darkness. They are primarily found in poorly lit or pitch-black areas where they use shadows to hide their full form, often revealing only their eerie smile. In terms of behavior, smilers act like patient and observant predators. Instead of immediately attacking, they tend to watch their targets from a distance, sometimes following silently and waiting for the right moment to approach. This makes encounters with them psychologically intense, as you may feel their presence long before you actually see them. Their threat level is considered moderate to high. While they are not always aggressive, they become dangerous if you wander too close, panic, or remain in dark environments for too long. Smilers rely heavily on darkness to maintain their advantage, and exposure to bright light can weaken or repel them, making light one of the most effective ways to survive an encounter. What makes smilers truly terrifying is the fear they create rather than their physical strength. The sight of a glowing grin appearing in total darkness taps into a deep, instinctive fear of the unknown. The uncertainty of their exact location, combined with the feeling of being constantly watched, creates a sense of dread that lingers even after they are gone. Skin stealers. Skin stealers are among the most disturbing and deceptive entities in the backrooms. At first glance, they can look like normal humans, but something always feels off. Their movements may be slightly unnatural, their speech delayed or emotionless, and their appearance just uncanny enough to trigger suspicion. These entities are highly dangerous because of their ability to mimic humans. Skin stealers are believed to wear human skin, either by taking it from victims or replicating it in a grotesque way. This allows them to blend in with wanderers, making them far more threatening than creatures that are obviously hostile. You might think you're talking to another survivor until it's too late. Behavior-wise, skin stealers are intelligent and manipulative. They observe human behavior closely and attempt to imitate it, but they often fail to perfectly replicate emotions, tone, or natural reactions. They may approach calmly, try to gain trust, and then attack when the victim is vulnerable. Some reports suggest they stalk targets for long periods before revealing themselves. Their threat level is high. Unlike entities that rely on darkness or speed, skin stealers use deception as their primary weapon. They can get extremely close without raising alarm, which makes them unpredictable and deadly. What makes them truly terrifying is the psychological horror they bring. The idea that anyone around you could secretly be one of them creates constant paranoia. You're forced to question every interaction, every face, and every voice because in the backrooms, even humans might not be human at all. The Howler. The Howler is not understood as a biological organism in any conventional sense. The working theory among backrooms researchers is that it is a node of concentrated acoustic energy that the backrooms has, over time, given a body a sound that became something physical and began to move through the world it was born in. No full visual description of it exists because no one who has been close enough to see it clearly has survived to report back. What is known comes from audio recordings found on abandoned devices in empty corridors, final notes left by wanderers who heard it approaching, and the testimony of those who escaped by virtue of distance alone. Its voice, the howl it produces, is the weapon. At distance, it causes disorientation, nosebleeds, and temporary blindness. Within 30 meters, it ruptures eardrums and causes internal hemorrhaging. Within 10 meters, there is no documented survivor. It does not chase targets. It does not need to. It wanders the backrooms, most commonly through Level 4's concrete parking structure, and howls at irregular intervals, as though testing the resonance of each new space it enters. That unpredictability is what places it so high in the hierarchy of danger. There is no pattern, no behavior to read, no warning sign beyond the sound itself. Every established survival protocol says the same thing. If you hear anything resembling a howl, even faintly and at great distance, move in the opposite direction immediately and do not stop. Death moths. Death moths are large, hostile, insect-like entities in the backrooms, resembling oversized moths with distorted features and aggressive tendencies. They are most commonly found in dim or abandoned areas, especially levels with organic decay or low light, where they blend into the environment surprisingly well. Some variants even resemble different real-world moth species, but with unsettling, unnatural traits that make them instantly threatening. In terms of behavior, death moths are highly aggressive and reactive. Unlike more patient entities, they tend to attack quickly when they detect movement or feel threatened. They are attracted to light sources, which can make them especially dangerous to wanderers using flashlights or other illumination tools. Some reports suggest they can swarm their targets, overwhelming them rather than attacking alone. Their threat level ranges from moderate to very high, depending on the type. Smaller or passive variants may be avoidable, but larger or more aggressive death moths can be extremely deadly, especially in confined spaces. Their speed, erratic flight patterns, and potential to attack in groups make them difficult to escape once provoked. What makes death moths truly terrifying is their combination of unpredictability and appearance. Their insect-like movements, rapid fluttering, and unnatural size trigger instinctive fear, especially for those uncomfortable with bugs. The fact that they are drawn to light, something usually associated with safety, adds a cruel twist, forcing wanderers to choose between darkness or risking a deadly encounter.